Well, the first turn is done. We have Germany. Pretty much did what they were expected. I saved $12. I saved $18. I spent $12 and built a factory right here in Romania. Other than that, I saved it. I took France, overwhelming odds. I lost 3 men. I wiped out the 110 force. I have a sub and the battleship still left. I wiped out the 111 force. I wiped out that force with 2 subs, and I got lucky and attacked that cruiser and got it. And all in all, I lost a sub and 1 plane on this entire sea battles, and then I lost 3 infantry in France. Very, very good rolls. I was very happy. The British player did not roll as expected. I took all my men in Germany, put 6 in Poland, 5 in Slovakia. Put 1 artillery in Poland, the other 2 in Slovakia. Took the 2 artillery southern Germany in Slovakia. So what we have here is we took Yugoslavia with the forces from southern Germany and both tanks, and took over Bulgaria, took over Finland. So pretty much as expected. Landed that plane that was used in Yugoslavia and southern Italy. That's expected. Put the attack back in Slovakia. Landed all my air force in western Germany. Shifted my cruiser and transport from 114 to 113. That's all as expected. So my attacks, very happy with them. Went very well. Just for those of you that want to see exactly what happened on turn 1, I wrote it down. This is pretty much what I did. And then I made these type of shifts with the Germans. So that's my strategy sheet. The Russians did as expected. They backed up the front line. They left a man each, and it looked like they beefed up Ukraine. They put 2 men there. They beefed up Western. It looks like token forces in Belarus. They didn't put anything in Novigrad as far as builds, but they backed up Vyborg and put 1 from Archangel in there. So it got beefed up, but they moved the planes out and put them and everything in Russia and moved them to Bryansk. So it looks like Bryansk is his stepping off point to counterattack. And then he built men and planes. He backed everybody out of Amur, left 1 man each, put them in Baryua. What is it? I can't pronounce words. Baryashia. So he backed them up, and that was turn 2. I did this. And I made shifts. Haven't done turn 3 yet, but this is what I plan on doing. So that's the strategy. And so I have this fleet here. The Brits back here, he backed up 1 territory, and he's got everybody sitting right there. So the Japanese on their second turn, I couldn't attack any more Russian territories. So I'm kind of waiting to get more troops there right now. So on the Japanese turn number 1, I had built 1 transport, 1 tank, and 1 minor IC. The transport and the tank go in Japan. That's just so I can get more stuff down into Asia and get ready for my invasion down to my money areas. But the minor industry I put right here in Manchuria. So on the first turn, you can see here I attacked Amur from Manchuria. Used a tranny from Japan. I took an infantry and a tank, and 4 infantry from Korea. And then from Japan I used 2 jets, 2 TAC. And then also in the north there, I had to attack Mongolia, because he gets Mongolia in now. And from Jeol, I put 1 infantry in and 1 artillery, and I brought 1 jet from Korea. And then from Manchuria, I brought 1 TAC air. And you can see more in the north here. I just moved everybody in on the undefended areas. And down south here, you can see it's pretty standard. From Kwang Sai, 3 infantry artillery. From Kangsu, a jet and attack. And from Japan, 2 bombers. And then I attacked Hunan. From Kangsai, 3 infantry, 1 artillery. And from Formosa, 1 jet. And from Manchuria, I brought 1 TAC and 2 jets down. I attacked Anhui from Shantung, 2 infantry and artillery. And from Kangsu, 3 infantry and 1 artillery. So that's all the basic attacks that happened down south on the first turn. He put 7 men and a fighter into that, because when I attacked Yunnan first, I didn't lose a man. The 4 Chinese men didn't kill nothing. So I was left with that many men. It took everything he had. He lost every man and had to retreat the fighter, and he didn't take it. He killed all mine, but he didn't retake that, so I just shifted more men back in. His second turn, he didn't attack it. He just built up right there. So now I didn't attack French Indochina my first turn, so I got an extra 10 IPC. So I'm starting turn 2 with 40. I built 2 more transports in Japan, another tank, 4 infantry, and a destroyer. And then I finished attacking here in China again, like Qichao I attacked Hopi, and I advanced into Mongolia, but I didn't attack that Russian force that he has there. And then, as I already told you, I didn't have to attack Yunnan again because he failed his attack. So far, my first and second turn have been going great with Germany and Japan. And then I shifted, of course, my fleet over to this area. So one of the tricks you got to watch out for is when you bring your fleet down here and use this as a springboard for your invasion down in the money area, the Anzac player, who's not at war with you, will move a ship up to this Z zone, which he's allowed to do. And then when you try to declare war the next turn, you cannot load up your transports in a hostile C zone. And so he stopped you from doing that. So real easy fix is in the non-combat move of this turn, like I shifted all these over in the non-combat move, I don't have to unload my cargo. My cargo can stay on the transports and you just keep them on. Or if you want, you just bring out a ship a little further and you block the Anzac ship from reaching you. So there's actually a couple things you can do there. So remember, keep an eye on that technicality. They've been going with this plan, I think it's from General Hand Grenade we got on the internet. He's following that plan because we all seem to like it. So the 2 transports and the destroyer that were left survived here. They traveled down. And the carrier that survived came back down here. And the transport has taken a tank and an infantryman. The transport also survived from the Middle East, and he's moving them up to here because we had moved an infantry and a transport from India. He took Persia, and then he attacked Iraq after, and the planes from India went over there. One landed here, so he's blocking Transjordan. But unfortunately, when he didn't have the cruiser, but he took the plane from Gibraltar, from Malta, and his ships he had here, and he attacked this force. I sent out my planes and scrambled. He brought the bomber down from England, and again, he didn't roll that great. I destroyed everything. He destroyed everything of mine, plus one of the Italian jets I took off. The British will have a nice little force down here. to guard the Indian Ocean. So part of the strategy that we're using from General Hand Grenade, and I think he calls it Middle Earth, we'll just call it Middle Earth from now on, was building the factory here. The factory would get built on turn 2 and would go right here. And on the first turn, England built 7 infantry and 1 tank. And the 7 infantry went into London, because you can't lose London, especially when he sees Germany buy 4 transports. They already start with the one. That's 5 transports already. So you've got to, England had to watch that. And the rest of it is being built down here. It's a good strategy. I already went over that. So, and you can see here on the battle board, the British had this force in Egypt. Again, he didn't try to overcommit there, just make the Italians fight for it. You can see the Italian army I have gathered there, because this is actually the Italian turn where we had to stop the Italian turn 2. So the British, showed you all what the British did, basically defending and building in Middle Earth, and he will gather a force to counterattack Egypt later. Italian jets I took off. So that was that battle. So he didn't, the only thing that was left there is he didn't get the transport. He didn't kill, he only had enough to kill my ship, so the transport was left. So I had this transport left. He didn't get the transport in there because he had nothing to hit it with. And I had the transport still in C-Zone 95. So I have 3 transports on the board. I took them, hit, and that's what I'm hitting with. I brought down 2 men and a tank and a man, plus everything from Tobruk, which had taken Alexandria the turn before, and going into Cairo. That's that. The Italians took southern France, and they took Greece, and then after I took out the French ships on the first turn, the second turn I just went and took Gibraltar, so I get the extra $5 for that. And then down here, this force took the Egyptian force, and then I'm moving up to Egypt. So everything's going pretty well as planned for the Italians. The Germans built their factory here. I did hit the first row. I hit the Russians on the second turn with the Germans, and he counterattacked. He's keeping a pretty good second line here. He counterattacked with everything he had in Ukraine, because he put men there on his first build, and he took Bessarabia back. Even though it's not worth any money, he just wanted to block any forces from getting into the Ukraine. And it looks like he has bought 2 planes now and a tank so far, and then the rest men. But he's keeping a counterattack force right here to go either north or south. So pretty good. Back here, he backed up 1 territory, and he's got everybody sitting right there. If I made that clear on the second turn, I already told you what the Germans built: the 4 transports, the aircraft carrier. I flew 2 planes from the mainland and put it on it, and a couple subs. I still have the battleship left. Pretty nice force there, threatening sea lion. But the British did build 7 infantry. He moved a fighter from Scotland in, 1 man from Scotland. So he does have 4 fighters. The men he started with plus 7 more. And then after I bombed his factory, he was able to build 5 more infantry on turn 2. So he's put 12 infantry on there in 2 turns in just builds. So it's a formidable force still. So in order for me to keep the money down so he can't build too much next turn, I took all the planes I had and I bombed the factory on London. So I didn't get as much damage on I wanted to. I think I put 10 on there. So he had to spend 7 IPCs. I think he spent 6 or 7 and knocked it down, so he can build stuff there. So I made him spend there, and then I left 2 subs in the convoy disruption area and took another, I think, 5 from him there. So it's maybe even 6. I might have took 6. So it's very effective taking the money from him that way before I even attack, to keep his builds down.
So Sea Lion's very doable, but what I'm doing here is keeping the British honest. He has to spend money to build up here because I'm threatening an invasion. And believe me, building everything he has, evasion is still plausible. I mean, it'll be a close combat, but it's doable. It's just a matter if I want to do it or not. So that's how I'm threatening England. The reason I only bought half the transports on the first turn and didn't save all the money and buy like 10 on the second turn like I know people do is because I might not want to invade London, and then I wasted all my money on my transports. So if I build a little bit on the first turn and then on the second turn, a little bit on the second turn, then on the third turn, if I really want to go for London, let's say the bombing run went real good and he couldn't build on there, then I'll build another 4 or 5 transports and then attack it on the fourth turn. Remember, the Americans aren't there yet. They can't come in till their fourth turn, which I go before them, so I can have London before they do, which gives me British money. Even though the Americans might take it back, it still sets them back. It will definitely help me out. But that's why I split up the buys on the transporting, because I may call off Sea Lion and I don't want to waste all my money on the transports. That is why on the second turn when I attack Russia, I make sure I usually send a tactical bomber I have over there that started in Poland and that I kind of keep on the eastern side, and I might have another jet I use, and even the jets I put on the carrier, I fly them out and I destroy the Russian cruisers there that's defending Leningrad. And it looks like I'm just going for a general attack on Russia. It doesn't look like I'm trying to invade Leningrad. I'm just, doing a general attack. And then I decide if I can take that. Right now, it's an even battle. I have to wait one more turn. That means I have to bomb this one more time. And that'll give him about 5 more men on there. It'll be close. Too close for me. So I'm just going to take the 5 transports I have right now, and I'm invading Leningrad. I destroyed the German cruiser there last turn. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll hit in Russia my next turn. I'll hit this one again, and I'll take this force and hit that with the stuff I have here, get them up there. And then I'm not sure what the Russians' plans are. The Italians, once I take Egypt, he's going to have a force building up right there. I'll have to reckon with that. Now, I think the general consensus for the Americans is Europe first. And you don't really know what you're buying totally until you see what happens on the board. So on the first turn, you can see here the Americans, they built an aircraft carrier, 1 jet, and 2 destroyers, and they built 1 sub in the Pacific. On turn 2, they built in the Atlantic here the 2nd aircraft carrier, 1 tactical plane, 2 transports, and a tank. And of course this rounds out their invasion force. They bought an infantry for the Pacific. So it looks like they're going to build up here, get transports, and they know to come over to Europe somewhere, somehow. That's why I always like Germany to have some kind of small fleet to hamper the Americans. I'll waste that fleet on them, and then I build a submarine force. And submarine force can be very effective. It doesn't seem like it, but I use it all the time. And they're cheap. And you hit somebody with 10 subs, basically you're getting hits on him and he's spending more money than you for it. So that's my plan, is to deal with the Americans. They have this, they have all these troops. They're gonna, since I took Gibraltar, he probably will come over here and take it back. I have to start building in France. We'll finish turn 2 and get everybody's thoughts when we start turn 3.
America took out a destroyer here, and we took out another destroyer here, and we're just gonna pick off the Japanese, and we're gonna just keep on picking at them while they're split. And on the East Coast, we're gonna build. We're gonna build a. We already built the Navy, and we're having a couple transports coming in, and we're gonna put all the. Boom! All right, we're gonna put all the infantry and tanks into the transports, and we're gonna send them off to the Atlantic.
Normandy. Next. Russia. So right now, as you can see, Germany's doing pretty good, but I'm doing pretty good too. So he just took Leningrad from me, and you know I just took this back. I'm trying to slow him down, just block him as much as I can. Right here, I got a nice force right here where I could counterattack. So wherever he attacks, I just have a big force right here to attack him. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Sounds Gucci.
Alright,
Next.
well, I'm the UK, and right now, Italy just took Egypt to me from the last turn, and so we took this other dude's plan that we saw. We built a minor factory in Persia, and we're just gonna build up a sizable force here to try to take back Persia. And we are having a ferry system from South Africa going up to Persia, so we can build up the force there and take back Egypt. And the Chinese are doing great too. Oh yeah, the Chinese are doing fantastic. Some
Over here.
well, then Anzacs took these two territories to get an extra $8, and we took Dutch New Guinea for the extra $5 we get if we get all this. So
It was the beginning of turn 5. Russia and Germany has already taken their turns. What happened was Germany attacked these two provinces, or whatever you call them, territories, and I counterattacked them with fighters and infantry and artillery, and I took those two back to slow down their forces to take over Moscow. But so far I'm pretty happy with how I've been holding up, so I'm going to add more men on turn 6, so it's going to be pretty good on Moscow.
And with the British side right here, Persia, we're building a pretty sizable force, and we're gonna go hit Egypt sooner or later. We got the British fleet here, and we're gonna see what the Japanese do. They're either gonna attack me or leave me alone. They're probably gonna attack me and try to destroy this fleet. And yeah, that's it for the British so far. On the Pacific side, with America, I got a nice little fleet coming in, and I'm probably gonna attack the Japanese fleet, so he can't keep on building and taking all of China and Russia. So I'm just gonna put more pressure on the Japanese so they can't build as quickly, and I'm still building more. And on the Atlantic side, we might either go into the Mediterranean or we might go north, but either way we'd have to either attack this or that. If I attack the Italians, the Mediterranean will be free and we can start taking land there, or if we take Germany, we'd have the whole this side taken. So either way, we'd have to see how it goes though.
Boys are definitely doing better than they used to. So the American force, I don't know if they told you, but we're on turn 5. But only the Russians and the Germans have gone on turn 5. I would like to either be attacking Moscow on turn 5, or at least next to it, which I'm not. And that's how successful or better the Russian Christopher's been doing. He's really been counterattacking. He started up right here at this line, as you probably seen on the video, and now we're counterattacking on this line. I'm trying not to put all my eggs in one basket, except I decided to this turn to put most of my stuff right here because I had them blocked, and he just took it back. So now I think if I take everything here and put it here, and everything here and put it here, I think I can win that battle. You know, I don't think he has a whole lot, but we'll see. I've been building up in Normandy because the Americans were coming, so there's southern Normandy. I'm kind of weak up there and a little weak down here. so I had to block the American fleet. He has 10 pieces. That's all he has. So I blocked it there, and blocked it with the Germans there, and I'm backed up with what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. I've been trying to take British money with the subs there. I did have 3 there and 1 up there, but because next turn I might build a lot of stuff and put it right here, throw him off a little, and then just transport again.
I didn't show you what I did on turn 3. You can see here on turn 2 I bought my transports. I already showed you that. And I only bought half in case I didn't want to invade London. And it looked like he was building everything he could there. On turn 3 I have to make the decision, am I buying more transports and then I'll invade on turn 4, or just scrapped Sea Lion. And I decided to not go after London because it looked like a close run thing. So I took 10 men from Germany and I invaded Leningrad. With the troops that I had in the Baltic states, I attacked Leningrad also. And I won that pretty easily. I had a pretty good force left. So that's how I got the big force in Leningrad, along with what I was attacking in the south there toward the Ukraine. And that's why I'm have a good amount of forces sitting here in Russia right now.
And either way he goes, hopefully I'm hoping he loses a few things, and then I'm going to bring those subs all the way down here and counterattack. So that's my game plan there. Egypt's kind of holding the line because the plan with the British here, he's got a pretty powerful force. I don't know if he'll go up to Russia or come over to Egypt. I didn't reinforce this, Egypt last turn because I had to start building for Italy. He's building here and he's building there. He has a nice little navy there that's transporting back and forth. I've got a little Japanese navy that's watching them. But next turn I'm going to bring, an artillery piece here, 1 man there, this man, this. It's all going into Shan State. This is all advancing, everything here. I built the factory. I'm going to bring 3 infantry. It's the Japanese turn actually. 3 infantry, start shifting them up, some tanks. 3 tanks are going here. I will have the Japanese force right here. I will have the Japanese force right here. Hopefully when the German force is there, the Germans attack, Japanese come in, and hopefully start squabbling everything they can. From this point on, I will have a row of 3 tanks right behind them, backed by the aircraft. Since the Russians decide to keep the force back here right there, I haven't advanced, so I'm taking everything around them, and I'll just keep infantry there watching them. The Americans are building up. They didn't build anything on that side, so that's kind of their downfall. I don't know if I explained this right, so I'm going to explain it right. Here's what I see. He didn't build anything, so all he has is this. He has to go one way or the other way. So depending on which way he goes, I say he's going to get in a fight and lose maybe 3 things. Then the other one will come around and attack it and lose another 2, 3 things. Hopefully that takes care of what he has there. Then he still will be able to hit one of these coasts with the 10 men. With the 10 men, if I have enough, at least 10 defense on each spot, hopefully I can destroy half. He'll be left with 5 things. With 5 things, I'm going to make sure I have a counterattack going on here. I'm going to make this one the strongest and beef this one up, so I can counterattack where he decides to hit, either from here or from here. And then how long is it going to take him to build and get back over here? Then I have 8 subs that will come back out and start dealing with what he's trying to build. Probably transfer, he has to build carriers again and all that. And I'm going to come out with the subs and start jacking them. The British aren't doing anything up there anymore. This is where the kids kind of fall apart, because I helped them in the first 2 or 3 turns, and now it's up to them to keep going. The British are concentrating right here. And I think I've already stated how the Russians were doing real good here, counterattacking me and making me lose men, which is what he should be doing. And he kind of huddled up into Moscow. This side were pretty equal, and then he built that. So this side is a little scary. His first turn, he came out and he destroyed my blocking force there, destroyed my blocking force there. And so I had to build some ships. It looks like I got to start building men there, because he can threaten that. I'll keep blocking that. But it looks like I may pull my navy here over toward Japan, because I'm building a carrier and I have those ships. I'll just be stronger by 3 ships and 2 more planes if I just move them over to Japan. So I'm probably going to do that. And if I do that, if I was Americans, I'd come down this way, which I'm not going to like because it brings them closer to my money stuff. But doesn't matter. I can still come from here, come back down to the Philippines, and we can get ready for a battle. So the Anzacs were collecting, $23 for a couple turns, because he took both of these. He took this, and so it was giving him extra money. So I had to take that, and I took that. So I built my little factory here. So when I build this turn, it's going to be 3 tanks, 3 men, and start shifting the men in here because I want men. Then I'm going to go tanks, and we're going to start dealing with this. But in the meantime, this force is moving into Russia. For the last 2 turns, I've been buying a lot of infantry because I didn't have anything here, because I went for a navy. I built transports, was going to take London, decided I couldn't. I bombed it once. I've been convoying it, keeping its money down. I went after Leningrad. So I think my next German turn, he's not getting this back, I don't think, because I come first and I'm going to take that. So 3, 3, 3. So it's 3, 6, 9 things there. I'll probably do like 3 tanks and 6 men on those spots. But then I have to move. But I think right here I'll start putting tanks, and we got to start going in. So that's the game plan anyways. Just got to stop the Americans there. That's the only thing putting pressure on me this side, is that American force. The British are so fixated right here, he's not doing anything in London anymore. So, and I'll show you what it looks like when the Japanese are done. The next turn, the Japanese are going to take another at least $2 from the Russians. And then after that, it's Stalingrad. So